All right. What is going on, Fed Nation? We are here today with another Fed chat, something new that's developed over the course of this COVID-19 pandemic. And today we have Josh Zolin, who really needs no introduction. But Josh, for the three people in the Fed group that might not know you, give them a little rundown on who you are, what you do.
Sure thing, Rich. First off, thanks for having me on. These new Fed chats are awesome. I've been catching the one you did with Angel the other day or yesterday, and Roger too. So just happy to be a part of that group. That's awesome. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Josh. I am the CEO of Windy City Equipment out in Phoenix, Arizona. We do hot side restaurant equipment repair as well as HVAC, refrigeration. Also, I recently authored a book called Blue is the New White in hopes of getting the younger generations interested in this beautiful line of work that we're all in, the skilled trades. So in a complete and utter nutshell, that is who I am.
Awesome. So I figure we're just gonna have a chat. There's really no guidelines here. Whatever comes to mind, please bring it to the table. So I think we'll start with what we're all going through right now is the pains of COVID-19 and what it's brought to our business and to our employees. So you are in Arizona, you are in Texas. So is there any, I'd love to talk about what's going on within your company in both markets. Are they differentiating in any way? And I'll let you take that.
Yeah, absolutely. So our Houston branch was hit the hardest. We literally just opened that branch November of last year. So we were still working on building clientele and all of that, which we have, knock on wood, some pretty prominent customers out there, but still not a huge customer base. So when they went on lockdown, that hit us pretty hard out there. Those guys are getting like one call a day. I think I'm down to two techs in that market right now. Phoenix, on the other hand, we were one of the later cities to be hit with this. We just went on lockdown this past Tuesday.
Yeah.
But as we know, we're deemed an essential business thanks to the skilled trades, and we serve essential businesses, being grocery stores and quick service restaurants, healthcare facilities, government institutions, stuff like that. So we have a pretty wide array of customers. We have seen a slowdown both here in Phoenix and in Tucson, as you can imagine, as everybody has, of course. But I'd have to say that we have also been very fortunate. Primarily, our main customer base is quick service restaurants. So they don't rely too heavily on their dining room, for their revenue stream, which, we know that their sales are still down, despite, what a lot of people might think. A lot of people might think, hey, drive-through and carry out is booming right now, because that's all they can do. Well, that's not the case. Those guys are down too, and they're still trying to figure out how to manage costs and stuff like that. So again, very fortunate. We had a bunch of large projects in place before all this happened, and those customers decided to pursue continuing that work. So, which we're going to be completing here pretty soon. So we'll see what the install crew does after that. But I did have to let some people go. The majority of the people I did let go were office staff. So we started with overhead. Unfortunately, one of my salesmen I had to lay off, and then parts runner, stuff like that. And then also a couple of the technicians that may have been on the fence to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So we started there, and so far have not had to lay off anybody else. I think all in all, company-wide, there was a total of 5 people we laid off, something like that.
Wow. That's not so terrible. Yeah, I mean, for us in New Jersey, I just did actually a live talking about some of the staggering numbers that are going on here on the East Coast in New York and New Jersey. We're the leaders here. We don't want to be the leaders in this case, but we are. And I forget what the number was, but was it 22,000 for us or something? and growing. So for us here in this market, I unfortunately have had to furlough the entire company as of Friday, as of tomorrow, because we just can't get in anywhere. A lot of these kitchens, we call hospitals, we're calling a lot of the different chains we work with, and they're just saying, listen, we're all the same thing. We're limiting the people in our kitchen. We don't want to put our staff at risk, and we'll definitely be in touch with you when this, begins to let up a little. So I said, okay, well, we'll give you a call in a couple of weeks. They said, great. But, to have these three guys that I've had on anyway, doing 10 hours a week, I mean, it just doesn't make sense for them. I mean, they can go on unemployment and make more. So that's the decision I made yesterday, because I'm communicating on weekly Wednesday letters with different things of updates of what I've been doing for the company. So that's the big update this week. Unfortunately, we have to do that. And everyone's of the same mindset of understanding, of just we have to wait this out, and it might get a little bit worse before it gets any better. But with I guess the president saying April 30th, right as of right now, we're all quarantined till April 30th, and that's not been more true than for us here in New Jersey. I mean, it's just life has slowed down tremendously here. But it's
that sounds tough. I mean, that's got to be one of the toughest decisions that you've made as a business owner, hasn't it?
Yeah, it sucks. It's one of the worst things. It's it puts listen for anyone out there that is fearful. You're not alone. I'm very fearful. My father built this company. I grew up in this business, and I grew up in this family, right in the building. My house is right across the street. I could see the building from here, and there are different thoughts in your head every day, wondering, are we going to make it through this? Are we going to be here after this all ends? And my common sense and my gut tells me, yeah, we're going to make it through. We're going to be fine. But when you have all this time, your mind can really do some crazy things. So, it's nerve wracking, for me to think that is there a chance that the family business is no more? So for the people out there that are fearful, I don't think there's anything wrong with being fearful. That, it shows you care. It shows you're passionate. It shows your love for the business and the company. So, I think, turning that fear into urgency, into hard work when this thing lets up is going to be your best bet getting back to work.
Yeah, absolutely. And not letting it cripple you, right? Because that's the hardest part is, it's natural to be afraid. We're all afraid of something. And quite frankly, we're probably all afraid of just way too much, on a mass scale. But this is definitely, one of those triggers. I'm curious, are you developing like a reopening plan at this point, kind of trying to figure out what pieces are going to come back into play, and how you're going to get everything to organize back together and get back into operation as soon as they say doors open?
Yeah, I have, and I was talking a little bit about this earlier too. I kind of have a lot of stuff right here right now, and I tell people I don't know exactly what the entire plan looks like right now, but I got to get it on paper, which is what I'm going to be doing over the next several days. And just off the top of my head, a lot of the things that I'm going to look to do is I'm going to be designing a new little flyer, the old school paper flyer. I'm actually going to be doing some mailings. One of the things I'm going to be doing to get to our customers, of course, and to the reps and everyone dealers that we work with, letting them know our new strategy when we open. It's going to be like, listen, we're going to have our technicians are all going to be with the masks. They're all going to have the gloves. We're going to get those. They're not the hazmat suits, but they're like those hospital gown almost looking things that cover you. Every van's going to have those. Everyone's going to have the Purell. We're going to be locked and loaded to live in this new world, and kind of remind them of the services, remind them that we're still here. We're not going anywhere. And I'll probably throw a t-shirt. Right now I'm looking at getting custom hand sanitizers with our logo and everything. Put those in a care package and can start sending those out in a couple of weeks to let them know, hey, we're here, get ready, we're going to be here. I don't know if there's anything more I could do other than keep the word out and continue to talk through the video, through the channels we have, and continue to stay in communication with the employees, but also thinking about new services we want to offer. We want to start, we're not cleaners, and PMs, we're not really cleaning the equipment. We're deliming it. Yes, we're sanitizing the ice machines, but I think we want to start maybe thinking about offering new services and deep cleans. And I think that looks like possibly new jobs. I'm not going to have technicians do that. So we're going to come in behind certain jobs maybe and do deep cleans. And I don't know what that looks like yet because I got to look further into it. But um, yeah, there's definitely some strategies and plans in mind that I have to get down on paper, talk with my team, and then begin executing when the doors open. So,
Nice. And if I could interject on that for a second,
please.
I've been participating in conference calls with restaurants and things like that all over the country.
Yes.
You were in one of those calls for RIFMA,
Mhm.
and to this date, I think I've been a part of 7 or 8 of them now. And here's something, I usually just go there to listen. There's some things that I can um, contribute, but really the main thing is to understand, where the head is at in these restaurants, these facility managers, our main demographic. And
Mhm.
one thing that I picked up, because you mentioned new services, is that everyone stopped their PMs, everyone stopped their capital expenditures, everyone's cutting their R&M. We know all of this, but the two most common services that people are continuing to move forward with are grease trap pumping and hood cleaning. And every single one of them has said that. Now, grease trap pumping, you and I both know that that's a kind of a huge specialty business, a lot of money, a lot of startup costs in that. But hood cleaning is something we've actually now considered in light of all this. Now, again, it's somewhat specialty. You need, some special equipment. You need people that are willing to work third shift, and clear through the night, but definitely doable for a much lower cost than grease trap pumping, and helps to diversify your services a little bit. So
Mhm.
that's one of the things that, that we've noticed that we're looking into as well. So additional services, I think, is a great idea. And I think you're going to be seeing a lot of that, as soon as we come out of this, because people realize, just how vulnerable they are with the demographic that they serve, which is always going to be the case somewhat, but, the more that we can diversify, the better chance that we have of, staying afloat in the next crisis, because we don't know what that's going to be.
We don't. Yeah, I mean that's the I think the key word, diversification. Um, it's times like these that we talk about. We see there's so much opportunity that's going to arise from all this, and I think that's probably, I don't want to say the exciting part of all this, but I think there is going to be some excitement when we all get back to business and back to the real world, to you know thinking outside of the box and saying, what, we always kind of wanted to offer this service, but we don't know if we should. Now's the time to try it all. Put it all out there, put it all on the line. If it works, great. If it sticks, great. If not, um, at least you tried and now you know. But um, yeah, the restaurants and everything, we know, as I said, they're planned maintenance. I see so many people across the country saying, they're performing all this planned maintenance. Um, God bless. I've called so many of our PM contracts, and still they, that's you wonder, when we get back, they're going to say, you know what, Rich, hold off on all those PMs the rest of the year. We'll let you know next year. What's to come on some of that front. Are these PMs going to be cut out completely for the next year, 2 years? Do you think something like that's going to come?
It's possible. So here's the way that I'm looking at it is, these restaurants, they all have all these budgets, for everything. They've got their R&M budget, which usually includes the preventative maintenance agreements, and they have their capital expenditure budget, which is all the replacements and things like that. And what's happening right now is everybody's losing money. Everybody's, sales are down, and they're scrambling to find a way to remain profitable. And those that can pivot accordingly will remain profitable to a point, but they won't be near as profitable as they were.
Mhm.
Uh, so in my mind, once the doors open back up, it's all going to be about recouping costs and getting back to where they were. So my guess, and this is just a guess, I have no idea if this is accurate or not, but if I was in their position, I would say that, what I would do in a situation like this is I would probably release those capital expenditures, that CapEx fund, into my regular P&L to have that money that was allocated now available, which means that anything that was in the capital project fund is gone. And then I would look at my R&M costs and probably see where I could cut. And the first thing that you're going to cut when you're looking for, cost savings is planned maintenance. Because although there is a benefit, it's a long-term benefit. And that long-term benefit they're not looking for, they're looking for the short-term gain.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, is it possible? Yes. Those who handled the situation accordingly, will see the value in PMs, and they'll probably restart those services. Absolutely, especially those who feel strongly, about what it brings to the table,
Mhm.
and are in it for the long term. But the public companies, I think you'll see probably cut those out just because they have investors to please. And I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be shot for saying that or what, but
It's
it's
reality.
the truth. It's the truth, right? It's a numbers game, and they need to show that they're becoming profitable. So they're going to do
Yeah.
anything and everything possible to show that.
Yeah, for sure. No, I don't disagree with you. And changing subject a little bit. I wanted to talk a little bit about communication and how important it is more than ever today. Not just to outside, but internally. We talked about this together. So what are some things for Fed Nation here that's watching, for the business leaders, managers that are in the group, and for everybody, honestly. But what are some steps that leaders can take to communicate to their employees? What do we need to be doing? How often do we need to be communicating? Is it a daily thing? Is it a weekly thing? So what's some of your insights on that?
Yeah. I love this question. Communication is everything to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my philosophy has always been communicate often and communicate honestly, and not, don't sugarcoat anything, but don't be a dick about it either. I mean, and I think that's going to naturally happen if you have a passion for what you do,
Yeah.
not being a dick, but, just being honest and being passionate about it. Um, so I'd say, from a leadership position, first and foremost, before what to communicate is really how to communicate. Um, it's more important than ever that everybody knows whoever is in charge, whoever is in a leadership position, or even those who aren't in a leadership position, by the general definition, show control over themselves. Like I said in my last video, a steady hand. Because if they see you freaking out, if they see the worry in your eyes, and there's a fine line you have to walk there, because obviously there's concern right now, and you don't want to give the impression that you don't care what's happening. But at the same time, you need to acknowledge the severity of the situation, but also say, look, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that we keep moving forward. This company keeps moving forward, and you are taken care of. So I've been communicating via audio messages to my team once or twice a week. We also, I also communicate anything um, via Slack if it's of immediate concern. So the frequency of the communication is important as well, but more important than that is how you communicate and how you carry yourself through something like this. Because again, it's a tough line to walk. It really is. We were talking about this earlier, with this tennis match in your head of optimism and defeat, right? And
Yes.
uncertainty, because you want to be optimistic so bad, and you want to be like, all right, we're going to get through this. We're going to see all the opportunities in this situation, and we're going to make this work to our advantage, but at the same time, it's like you see the news, you watch the TV, all of that, and you can't help but be a little worried, and I think that's what everybody is struggling with right now.
It's true. This is an interesting Fed thing for Fed Nation. Hold on one second. My dog is going crazy. Stay right there. All right, I'm back. So
That's like what it was in my company before we had an actual office, working out of my dad's house.
yeah, so yeah, this is what happens, and I'll tell you what it is, just so everybody knows. My dog's barking because I have plumbers here. The tradesmen are working. Uh, so I have to go see what he's doing, but I told him give me a minute. I mean it's the communication game is more important than it's ever been. For me, same thing. I'm trying to let everybody know I'm confident, I'm cool, I'm collected. I
Big
put
brave dog.
That's right. Putting out positive, good vibes, and trying to deploy as much empathy as possible, and kind of expecting. Not that I should, but I like to expect the same from others in times like this. Because I see so many comments of employees saying some things about companies. They laid me off, and I don't. But I think you understand the circumstances. They didn't lay you off because they wanted to. Uh, they did it because they had to. And so the other thing that I wanted to talk about was in part with this was it's important how we do the things that we're doing right now, because one of the individual that stated this said I had a conversation with this person, and they said they understood the layoff, but they didn't understand the way they did it. They did it on a Sunday evening around 6 p.m. and they said, have your van cleaned out and brought back to headquarters tomorrow morning, Monday morning. So they were just upset with the kind of the way it was handled, So I think that's maybe something to talk about, how we're doing this, how we're communicating this stuff is just as important as to, the message we're saying.
Yeah. And it's kind of, what I said earlier with finding that fine line, because again, these are trying times. Everyone's shaken to their core. They don't know, how to respond to the situation, let alone how to communicate to others and get them to respond the right way to what's happening. So I think I think it's probably on both sides. The technicians. Here's what I'm saying. The technician that you were talking to, they called him at 6 p.m. on Sunday night, tell him to bring in his van Monday morning.
Yeah.
They were probably struggling with that decision up until 5:59 before they
Yep.
picked up the phone. And, the easiest thing for them to do was to be as blunt as possible about the situation. So, if I'm that technician, it's hard to see that side of it, right? All you hear is what you're being told and how you're being told it.
Right.
But again, it goes both ways. It's, if you can be empathetic, if you can be, a little bit more accommodating, that's great. But
Yeah.
people also shouldn't expect to be, you know, sugar coated. They shouldn't
Right.
expect things to be sugar coated. They should, respond to even a blunt comment like that accordingly. Look at it as an indifference. It doesn't matter how something is said to you. I'm saying it shouldn't matter how something is said to you,
Yeah.
but what is being said to you and why. um, you know that being said, again, it's a little contradictory when I'm saying, hey, it matters how you communicate, but it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
It matters how you communicate and also how you receive the information.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think in today's world, there's a lot of emotion going on right now, and I think I'm hoping that we could all desensitize a little bit after as this rolls on, because we all need each other.
Hmm.
Your employees, my employees, leadership. We need each other. This thing doesn't happen by ourselves, and I'm pretty confident that most of the people that were furloughed / laid off are going to be brought back once this thing starts to lift, and it's going to be booming.
Yeah.
So we have to be ready for that. I mean, this is kind of the calm before the storm. I think taking some time right now that you probably will never get again. I know people are spending more time with the kids and family and starting things that they were kept putting to the side. I see more people going live. I see more people doing videos that never did videos before. So there's more time to slow down and look. Are you doing anything outside the norm right now that you've been putting off and said I have no time for?
Um, yes and no. See, my passion is my work,
Yeah.
so I, that's what makes me happy.
Mhm.
So, in my free time, and of course my family too, they know that, and
Yeah.
everybody knows that. But I love what I do. I really do. So in my downtime, yeah, I'm focused on finding the opportunities in the situation. And you have to be careful how you word that, because kind of like you said before, that's the exciting part, right? um and you can't be uh too bold with that statement, like you're, hey, these are great times, it's gonna be awesome, because it's not.
Right.
But at the same time, to be able to find the opportunities in what's going on, it almost, I mean, that's kind of self-validating, you know because it's easy in our position, Rich, right, to develop what I call imposter syndrome, where you really, and it's because we care so much. We're always questioning our decisions. Is this the right decision? Is that the right move? But if we can weather through this, if we can come out of this stronger on the other side, that's validating right here. You know what I mean? And so my free time, I'm spending trying to find ways to innovate, trying to find the opportunities, like for example, through XOI, one of the services that we use,
Yes.
we have found a way to create a live stream video diagnosis. So I can actually text a link to my customers. They click on the link, right? And then I can take control of their phone from my office computer. I can freeze it, I can draw on it. If they draw on it, I can see it,
Yeah.
and we've started using this to help us diagnose things before we get on site. And actually alleviating some service calls altogether, which is just
Oh,
trackable. And being able to play with that and making sure we're fine tuning it and all of this stuff, is definitely, something I probably wouldn't have had time to do before.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And XOI. Speaking of that, XOI, right? XOI.
Yep.
Yeah. As is that Aaron, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he actually reached out to me when this first started and offered me to check out his thing there, which I'm actually going. I'm going to look into it now that you're talking about it. I think because this is something the new norm is going to be, as physical distance as possible, uh, to start doing more diagnostics before we get there to see if we can alleviate some of these calls. And honestly, there's no money in a nuisance call anyway. If it's something that
No.
we could, you know, walking through some simple things and simple resets sometimes, especially I'll just use Turbo Chef as an example. Sometimes there's power outages and all this thing needs is a real true reset.
Yep.
We could walk them through that and just check it. So there's so many things that we could save them $200 and we can go to a call that's going to be profitable for us as a service company.
Yep. No, absolutely. Because, with that comes the questions. Well, you guy was only here for 15 minutes. Why are you charging me an hour? I mean, we all know those calls, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
But it's about finding those ways to innovate. And in times like these, those who can find the ways to innovate, because, there is going to be a new normal. There's going to be a new way of doing things. And this is going to propel certain industries and certain procedures and processes to work and behave differently. And, those who can take advantage of it in this time and get ahead of it, and that's what I keep telling myself every single day
Mhm.
is, how do I put Windy City leaps and bounds ahead of the competition? And we're all in this together. We know that, but
Yeah.
it's a healthy competition, right?
Oh, absolutely.
With all the service companies in my markets and things like that. Look,
Mhm.
nobody's stopping you guys from catching up to me. That's all I'm saying.
That's right. That's right.
But and that's what it is. But to me, that's the thrill of it, right? That's the thrill of business. That's the again, that validation, finding ways to do this. And that's why I released my entire library of how-to videos.
Hmm.
Same concept. And we're actually looking into what else were we doing? Oh yeah, so I got to dive a little bit more into our finances and see if we can pull this off. But one of the things I was considering doing is offering a free service day to our customers. Get my technicians some hours, And there'd be stipulations like, 2-hour maximum, parts and material don't apply or whatever.
Right.
But just to be able to, you know, help our customers in that way and, strengthen the brand name of Windy City Equipment and what we're about and what we do and why we
Yes.
do it, in this time, that's when people remember. You know what I'm saying?
I
So these opportunities, I mean, I lie awake at night and my gears just turn and turn and turn and turn, and that's,
I feel you.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's a great point for the times that we're in. We talked about this too, about, penny wise, dollar foolish, you know, uh, and to go back to, being careful the way we say opportunity, it's we're not opportunists. We're looking for opportunity,
mhm,
um, in the good sense. We're not looking to take advantage of anyone.
right.
It's about bringing all this commotion that's going on and bringing it to our customers and saying, hey, we are struggling the same way. We're looking for our vendors to give us a break here and to help us with this and to do this. And if we all do that to each other, we can't lose in that sense. And going out there, that's something I've we've all done at this point. No overtime charges, right? We got rid of all that. Because we're not here to gouge. We're not even here to make money. I mean, honestly, we were just putting that stuff like, listen, regular rates. We just want to keep the guys working.
Yep.
We just
Break
want to
even.
be there, keep you up and running. You know,
Yep.
so we,
Absolutely. Like Roger says, right? All ships rise with the tide,
that's it.
and whether that's leading by example or whether that's literally reaching out and offering a helping hand to other service companies or other people in the industry,
Yeah.
there are several ways to raise that tide, right? And, you know, and that's what everybody in this industry I think is about. That's why I jump on those conference calls. That's why I, you know talk to you on a weekly basis,
Yeah.
every other day it seems. And
Yeah.
because it is, I mean, we're all in this together. And I've reached out and I've been reached out to by so many people in the industry.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. People saying, hey, if there's anything I can do to help, and
Yes.
if there's anything that we can do together, let's lean on each other. Even customers, I'm blessed to have a customer base that I have close personal relationships with, that I've developed over the years.
Yeah.
And some of them have said, you know, they've copied me in emails to their accounting department saying, hey, I need 2 companies or 3 companies in the entire country to continue to get paid through this if you cut everybody else off. And just seeing my name on the list
That's nice.
is, I mean, it's a feeling that you can't duplicate. You know what I mean? And that's, but that's what this industry is about. And I do the same thing for customers that don't do that for me, as I'm sure you
Sure.
do, and a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of service companies out there,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and it's just, yeah,
Yeah. No, we keep things rolling for people. Um, Really, no matter what. we just
yeah,
cause we just work together. We work through it. When we're talking about getting paid and stuff like that, we're going to get paid, especially for the long time customers. Some take 60 days, some takes 45, whatever it might be. We work through it because it's an understanding that it's long term, and we're going to be there for each other as we continue to grow. So that's nice that you have customers that are actually doing that. I mean, that's a feel good moment right there. That shows, yeah, that shows
power
the
of relationships, man.
yeah, it's so important. And it's more important than ever right now, talking about physical distancing. We have these opportunities right here in front of us, as we're doing right here on this Fed chat. Now, by the way, who's next? Who's on the next Fed chat?
Who's
Um,
up? Call some people out. Let's do it.
well, I got Evan from Univex who's going to jump on. He's always
And
down for that.
right, you
Come
got
on,
Bobby.
Bobby Byvid. We got
Yep.
him coming on. I got Rick Johnson. Um, who else? I don't
What
know.
about Taz? I see Taz all the time.
Yeah. You know
Get
what?
Taz on the show.
I've never really chopped it up with Taz. So you know what,
Neither
Taz?
have I.
There you go. Maybe
But I
have
respect his beard. I respect a good beard, man.
yes.
Taz, that's for you, buddy.
There you go. So we'll call him Taz out too. So we'll have some more people. But you have LinkedIn, you have Instagram, you have all these lives that you could start doing. There's no reason to go dormant and be quiet right now. Now's the time to talk. Now's the time to connect and network and build relationships.
Live scares people, man.
It does.
Life is scary.
It
People
scares
are,
me, quite honestly. But
yeah.
I've started to do it more since this happened, and it's actually gotten kind of fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna try my hand at it pretty soon here. I've gone live a few times in my life, but
Yeah,
I haven't done it often. So but I'll do it. Maybe this weekend or something. I'll be like Rich and I'll walk around my house and show
why
people
not?
my show people my dog and my yard and
Let people
uh,
in. Let people in.
but
Listen,
I gotta say it was awesome. It was awesome because it almost gives you it's a human side. You know what I mean?
that's
We
it.
see a lot of your work. We see a lot of what you talk about on a daily basis. But man, just to be in your living room is kind of cool.
It is, and that's what it is. It's strengthening that connection. It's like full circle almost. Like you said, you see the work, you see the traveling, you see the messages, and now you're here with Jerry, who was just barking and interrupting this Fed chat. But yeah, I mean, now's the perfect time more than ever to do that. So um, let's get into some closing chat. Um, what kind of encouraging words can we give some of these Fed members here as we make it through a brand new month, um, going through the COVID-19 pandemic?
Oh, I got something for that. All right. So first,
All right.
take a deep breath. Yeah, there you go. Take a deep breath. Just let it out, and immediately there's a relaxing factor to that, right? You can kind of feel it. And I think that's what a lot of people need to do right now is just stop whatever they're doing, where they are, take a deep breath. We say it all the time. This too shall pass. But the other thing is, look, we're talking about April 30th is the date. And maybe it'll be pushed back, maybe not. I don't know. In places that are hit harder like New Jersey and New York, maybe it won't be pushed back because you guys are kind of further along. That's the way I see it, right? You guys are further along than the rest of the country. Um, but what I like to do is I like to think, look, I'm what 30, 34 years old, 33 years old. I don't know. Either way, how fast time goes. I mean, 30 days is nothing. I remember 3 years ago, like it was yesterday, and it goes by like that.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a time when we're all sitting there, just having a chat, probably in person, maybe elbow to elbow, I don't know. But we're going to look back and we're going to say, man, that went by quick. That wasn't so bad,
Yeah.
and I think that provides a little bit of hope for me because inevitably, what other choice is there?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
how we're going to see it.
Yeah, I love that. I'm happy to end on that because I think that's great for everyone to think about. Take that deep breath and realize, man, that just made me feel better.
There you go.
Because it's true, we're going to be sitting around our Thanksgiving table and our Christmas dinners, and we're going to be saying, man, remember what it was like back in April, and we thought we would never make it through, and we're so busy, and we're having a great holiday, and it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
So we'll end there on a great note. Thank you so much for the time, for the insight. I think a lot of people here are going to be real happy they're tuning into this to see that you're not alone. There's a lot of good people out here willing to share. So, brother, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Rich, thank you. And if anybody out there needs anything or just wants to talk, let me know.
There you go. All right, Fed Nation, stay well, stay safe, stay home, and we'll see you on the next Fed Chat.